What?
Hello everyone, my name's Bobby Watts. Who are you?
Mr. Wing.
I'm here with Mr. Wing. My counterpart, Mr. Camera, is thousands of miles away. So this one we get to do all on our own. Bad idea. So this month we're bringing to you one that we've wanted to do for a while, one that you guys have been asking to do for a long time. And this is Futaba radios. So we're going to talk about the 8FG and the 18MZ.
Big dollars.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about those mostly. We're going to cover, the menus, the different things, tips and tricks with them. We'll cover some of the other radios too, like the 7C, the 8J, the 14MZ. They're worth showing. The 9C, 10C, all those. We'll show different sorts of receivers. What is SBUS? We'll do a little bit of SBUS stuff. Do you know what SBUS is?
I have one.
You have SBUS.
Oh, yeah.
So you can describe that for us later, maybe.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Oh, in the gobble you're SBUSing. Oh, yeah. Nice. So we'll talk about SBUS. We'll talk about, all the little perks that come with it. So this month we're doing Futaba radios. Aren't you excited?
I'm so thrilled.
How have you been? You've been away from the show for a while.
Wonderful.
You've been hanging out here in Jersey?
Jersey-licious, baby.
So if you guys can see, we're in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's my birthday today.
I'm not blowing out your candle.
I didn't ask for that.
Oh, no.
So we're at a lovely poolside view right now. His family owns this stuff. They built it. They're ridiculous. Huge beachfront out there. It's nice here, Wing. Thanks for having us up. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's all to do the episode just with you. So this is number 26. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. So welcome everyone to our Futaba episode. This month we are talking about these guys, Futaba radios. Habaco was kind enough to get these radios to us very, very quickly. I've got all the popular radios here. Now, these are all 2.4 gigahertz. These are the ones guys are using for helis. So I guess when I started using Futaba radios, it was my first one actually. I had a 6EX or something like that. I don't know, but it was pretty complicated for me when I first got it. And then some of my buddies had the 8U, if you remember that. And then the best piece of advice I ever got was I got the 9C, and that was just so awesome. That thing was great. I used that 9C from everything from my Raptor 30 to, I think I flew my Fury Extreme with that. I flew that radio for like 3 years, really good radio. But yeah, so I'm doing this Futaba episode for you. Bert's going to be doing a Spectrum, maybe a JR thing, I don't know. But I've been using Futaba my whole flying career, nothing but it, so I figured that I could bring this one to you while he's unavailable. So Futaba got into the radios, the computer radios, I think with the 6 series, the 8 series and whatnot, and they've just really been building up. Now when we got into flying, when I got into flying, so a little bit less than 10 years ago, we were all flying FM. I think one of these guys has FM here. Yeah. You guys remember these things? The antennas? Well, some of you guys are fortunate enough not to have to deal with antennas because they were a pain in the butt. But we had to deal with 72 megahertz here in the US, different frequencies all across the world. And that was a pretty risky time. FM was very prone to all sorts of hits and glitches. They wouldn't lock out because FM was before that, but they could definitely, if someone was on your channel, you were going in. There was no doubt about it. You're going to get, interference and everything was bad. So if you go to your airplane club, this is for the new guys. If you go to some of your heli clubs or airplane clubs, you'll see all the pins on there. And you got to pick your frequency pin and this and this and that. So we had FM, and then we got into PCM. And Futaba was actually the first to bring in PCM, which was a little bit more stable than FM. It had the ability to go into failsafe. PCM, you could program a failsafe with it. They had all sorts of different receivers. They had the dial-a-crash, if you recall that, where you could change the pots, and you could change your frequency at the field, which was uncalled for before without getting a different crystal set. Remember we had the crystals and stuff. God, 2.4 has made life easy. So having done that, we had the FM, we had PCM, then we had, from there, Futaba got into, with the 12Z and with the 14MZ, they got into, it was called PCM G3. Which increased it introduced a higher frame rate, so increased from 1024 to 2048 frame rate. So it's much more reactive. It was very, very, very quick. And you could also change your frequency without having to change a pot or without having to change out a crystal, which was really, really cool for that time of day. Now, those things were a little bit more vulnerable to getting lockouts. I remember with my Stratus, with that thing, we'd get some lockouts every once in a while and tail twitches, and it was a pain in the butt. If you had a bad bearing, you knew. So we had that, but that was great for going to big fun flies and stuff. We could change our frequency and everything. And then we finally got to 2.4 gigahertz with these modules. This one was the first to come out for the bigger radios. This is the TM14 module from Futaba. And then I believe it was their 6EX was their first 2.4 gigahertz radio. Now, if you guys recall, Futaba was late to the game with 2.4. Spectrum had 2.4 a good year and a half before we did. We were still flying with these antennas. So why are they late? Just want to let you guys know about how Futaba works versus Spectrum, so that way we clarify a little bit. So if you can see, sometimes Futaba's slow to the market. 2.4 were slow to the market. That's because Futaba is a very, very, very large corporation. They are held to very, very high international standards when it comes to safety. I'm not saying the others aren't. I don't know how they work, but I know that after talking with some representatives from Futaba USA, they've told me that a lot of times Futaba has to go through some very rigorous testing in order for products to get it out to the market, which is why the 2.4, maybe we were 6 months late to the game, but it took another 6 months to a year for all the testing and the safety standards to get up there. But that usually means in the long run that because they take so long and they really fine tune everything and make sure everything's very safe, usually when you get it, we don't have that many problems. We as demo pilots and just pilots in general, we have to trust our lives with these things. I trust my life with this 2.4 gigahertz, the fast system from Futaba. I don't say the same about the competitors. When I say trust my life, that means I've taken off when I was filming great white sharks and stuff in Africa for National Geographic. I had to take off with the blades about a foot away from my face, and that was really scary, but I had to trust it. So I trust these guys and their standards and their testing and their safety. I think that they're excellent when it comes to that. That's one of the main reasons why I stick with Futaba, because I think that they make really good products. So having said that, that's our little introduction to Futaba, kind of how it works, the little history of it. So now I just want to get into some of these radios, and our main objective for this episode is we're talking about the 8FG and the 18MZ, but we're going to cover all these other guys as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a run through of all of the popular computer radios nowadays from Futaba. Main episode we're talking about 8FG and 18MZ, but I want to show you guys what these other radios will do, because they're very, very nice radios, different applications for different things. So let's get started. So the first one that I think is applicable for helicopters, that I would say is a bare bones radio, is the 7C from Futaba. This one's a really nice radio. It's fully integrated 2.4. It does not have a module in the back. It's a good radio. There's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone using like a flybarless system, because in the flybarless systems you need a little bit more menus than what they have to offer here. But I think if you're just using a flybar, it's regular CCPM, you don't need anything crazy. I think the 7C is really nice. So when I turn it on here, you can see it's just a simple screen here with 4 buttons. There's no backlight to it, which is kind of a pain. I recommend the backlight in a radio if you guys can get it. You know, but you can go here and check everything out. It does not have a graph, which tends to be a pain with some people. So if you see, for instance, I'm in my pitch curve, and I go through the different points, I can see numbers, but I can't see a graph. Some people like seeing a graph. But it's got, you know, all your functions in here. Let's see, it has the gyro menu. It has the governor menu. You know, it has some things in here. Like I said, if you just want to do a flybar helicopter, I think it works just fine. It's got some really good nifty tricks and different things in here, but it's not quite complicated enough to handle a flybarless system. But you know, for an overall for the 7C, I think they did a good job. The sticks feel a little cheap. It's not as nice as like the 8FG or like the 18. They feel okay, but you know, just if you're starting out, not a bad radio. So that's our 7C from Futaba. Now the next one that we have here, which one do I want to grab? I'm going to grab this one. Next radio we have here is the 10C. The 10C was added on by Futaba a few years ago to replace the 9C. And it's a good radio, but I feel like it has some sort of faults. The biggest problem I see with the 10C is that you can't update it. It's not user updatable. So when we added all these things for the 750 or the V-bar, you know, if you want to control different bank switches and control your gains on the 750, with our 8FG, with the 12Z, the 12FG, the 18, the 14, we added these different firmwares in there so you could control it. But the 10C, I tried to help a guy set up a 750 with it, and it was kind of a pain because you can't go in there and update and get these new menus. But anyway, let's check it out to begin with. So here's our on button. First of all, huge screen, backlit screen, if you can see it here. I like it because it's got the wheel with the push button and a little scroll button right here. So we can get into the menus if I just hold down the mode. It's got the normal menus that we're looking for. It's got the gyro menu, it's got the governor menu, servo reverse, you know, all sorts of menus in here that you typically look for in a helicopter radio. Once again, for going flybarless, it's kind of on the verge. I don't know, it's up to you. I would recommend an 8FG over the 10C, but overall it's a nice radio. The antenna's built in once again. There's no module in the back, that makes things nice. And for the sticks feel nice. They feel a little bit better than the 7C, but still not quite as good as the 8. It's got a good feel to it. Some people say the switches feel a little bit tight right here, but I think overall it's a good radio, nice big display. Once again, if you're gonna go flybarless, I'd take a look at the 8 before this, but I think overall it's a really nice radio. Futaba did a good job with this. 7C has a NiCad battery, the 10C has a regular NiCad battery as well, and these tend to last fine, probably through, if you're flying at a fun fly, it'll definitely last you through the weekend, maybe 2 weeks or something. So that is our 10C. Now next, I'm gonna grab 2 of them. We have the 12FG and we have the 12Z. These came out back in, the 12Z came out in about 2005, and the FG was later, maybe a year or 2 later. I call them kind of brother radios because they're very similar. So we'll take a look at the 12Z first, since that came out first. Now if you notice, it doesn't have an antenna built in. You need one of the TM14 modules into here, because these things first came out with that PCM G3 that I was talking about. So you need your module, you need to put that in there and plug it in. So the 12Z, I really like this radio. I flew this radio for about 3 years myself. It's a great radio. The sticks feel really nice. The gimbals are just really, really smooth on this. Battery lasts forever. Battery on this guy, it uses a lithium ion battery. It's the same battery that they used in the 14MZ, but lasts forever. Let's see what else we have in 12Z. Lots of menus here. So when I turn it on, you can see lots of pretty colors on the front. Yeah. Okay, so it's blinking red because I haven't set up my receiver, my transmitter and stuff yet, so don't mind that. One turn off about the 12Z is there's no backlit screen. Once again, I really like the backlit screen. But if I go into the helicopter menu here, or I can go into the linkage menu, it's got a lot of really nice things. When we were still flying Flybarred with CCPM, it had the swash menu in the expert menu. Sorry, not expert menu, in the linkage menu, in the swash menu, where we could go and do the swash detail, and that really helped level out our swash plate, and it was really nice. But once again, this has all the menus you could ever need: governor, gyro, you know, the buddy box system's easy to set up with this. You know, it has this thing called condition hold, where if I want to set up my idle ups while my helicopter's running, I have to put it into condition hold, so that way my throttle doesn't go to full throttle when I go to set it up. Kind of a pain. I think the 10 and the 8 get away from that, but once again, it's you know, 6 half dozen the other. This is a different way of doing it. So 12Z. Now, would I recommend this nowadays with flybarless? Not really. You're paying for a lot of radio, and we don't need it anymore. We don't need these swash mixes. We don't need these different things. We just need a bare bones, you know, radio setup. But let's say it's a great radio if you've got it. I'd keep flying it. There's nothing wrong with this radio at all. 12Z is great. Now next we have the 12FG, which is just slightly different. Once again, it's pretty similar. The screen to me is a little bit harder to read than the 12Z. I think it's a little bit harder to not navigate through. You just need to get used to it. But once again, it's got all your different settings in here. It's got the main menus that you need. The gimbals and the pots are the same as the 12Z, I believe. Very nice feel. Switch setup, yeah, it's about the same apart. So for those of you guys with fat fingers, you might have a problem with that. But it's got, you know, everything in here that you could possibly look for in a helicopter radio. Would I recommend this one over the 12Z? Not really. I'd recommend the 8 still, but we'll get to that. And this one as well has a big NiCad battery, and it's nice and easy to use. Once again, you need the 14 module for 2.4 for this one. So those are our 12 radios. A few years ago, that would have been the radio I definitely would recommend. But because we've gotten so sophisticated with our computer gyros, we don't need these anymore. So this is the radio that I recommend to everybody now. This is half of our episode today. This is the 8FG from Futaba. Now this is the Super 8FG. There is a regular 8FG that can be upgraded to a Super, and it's really the same thing. So why is it a Super? Well, or why do I want the 8FG? Well, the 8FG Super, for instance, comes with 14 channels. They've actually expanded it so that you can have 12 channels plus 2 on and off channels. So that'd be good for like a switch glow, or like a 2-position sort of servo of retracts or something like that. But it gives you 12 full functions, 12 full channels. Now, if you have a regular 8FG, you can just go to the Futaba website, futaba-rc.com, go to their downloads section, and you can upgrade yours for free. The reason I like this thing, if I open it up down here, you can see I've got a regular old SD card in this one. This is a 2 gig card. You cannot use anything bigger than 2 gigabytes. So go to Best Buy or go somewhere in Walmart and get a 1 gig card, 2 gig card, nothing bigger, else it won't read it. So it's got a ScanDisk card, which is great if I want to change models out between another radio or set them up for Buddy Box. It just makes life easy. Next thing I like about it, good old-fashioned NiCad. But this thing lasts forever. This radio is brand new. I just got it for this flying season, and I think the battery will last a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks without having to charge it, and it's really, really nice. Another thing I like about the radio, it balances perfectly. It's great. Some radios, when you hold them, they're like this, and it's not good. So I can hold the radio just fine, and it's good. Next reason I like this radio, the gimbals are really, really nice for the price of this radio. This radio is slightly under $500 with the receiver, and it's a nice feeling radio. I don't think that it feels too cheap. I don't mind that. It's got a nice feel to it. The sticks feel good. So 8FG, definitely a winner in my book. And lastly, we have the new Megatron freaking awesome super duper radio. This is the 18MZ. This one was just released from Futaba this year, and this is their new flagship radio. Absolutely amazing. It's pretty much got an iPhone touchscreen on the front. You know, it's just absolutely incredible. It takes about 30 seconds to boot up for the first time in the day. But you know, we got all the different menus here. We got a camera in it. It can play sounds. It can play all sorts of, it can play your songs and whatnot. Nice little battery door. Comes with a really nice LiPo that lasts a good while. The battery in here will last for a while. I've heard you can update your CGY 750 through this. You can use a scan disk, you can use a memory card, all sorts of stuff. So we're gonna get into these guys mainly. But those are the Futaba radios. They're all great. If you wanna spend a lot of money, I think this one's a guy you can look at. If you just wanna be affordable and just fly, I think this is a good one to look into. The rest of them are great. If you've got them, there's no need to get rid of them. But I just want to get a little bit more into detail about these guys. So let's start with the 8FG. Let's start with the setup, some of the menus, and then we'll get into this. And I'll show you guys some secrets. Oh yeah. So now we're bringing you the 8FG segment. This radio absolutely rocks. I love this thing. I've been flying it for 2 years now. They even sent me an 18MZ, and I went back to this guy. So I really, really like it. We'll get more into that later. So anyway, this is the 8FG. Just want to give you guys a rundown of how powerful this thing really is. So here I've got my 8FG that I've had for about 2 years. And this is the new one that I just got. It's the 8FG Super. So I already explained the difference. It's the same radio. If you look at them front and back, it's really the same. Physically, the only difference is the sliders. On the old 8FG, this little guy is kind of behind it. On the new 8FG, this little slider in the back kind of sticks out a little bit more. But other than that, it's the same. So I'll use my Super for this explanation. So just because it looks a lot nicer. So once again, if you've got a regular 8FG, go to the Futaba website, download the latest software. This will give you your different gyro menus if you're using a 750. V-bar, I don't think you can use that with that. The 3G, I don't know if that will help you too much, but I know for you guys using 750 for sure, go to the Futaba website and download it. You can even get later softwares than what I've got on here. Sorry, the later firmware than what I got on here. When you first turn it on, it'll ask you which model you want to fly, and it'll have some different things in there. I haven't gotten into mine that much. I try to keep it pretty simple, and I hate updating stuff. So that's why I have, I guess, an older software in here. So let's fire it up, and I just want to show you a little bit more about it. So once again, really good feel in the hands, nice and balanced. The switches are far enough away where it's not a problem for me. Now the one thing I guess I don't like about it is the throttle hold position is a 3-position switch. You can program it so that either all the way back and this one is non-hold, and then all the way up is hold, or hold can be in the middle and up. Once again, it's just a different way of doing it. But everything else I really like. 3-position switches all the way around except for the back two. These two, this one's a 2-position, and then this one here for the kill is spring-loaded, just like a normal Futaba radio is. So when I turn it on here, you can see my backlit screen. I got my X7 model here. I really like the backlit screen. Makes things so much easier if you're night flying or something. Now the wheel is very different here. It's kind of like it's not quite like an iPhone. I guess it's like one of those iTouches or something where you can scroll the wheel around with your finger. But it's really nice. It's very easy to use. Now to get into the menu, all I'm going to do is double tap. So I've got my linkage menu, my model menu, and my system menu. So just for fun, we'll go into linkage. So just double tap link, And here we go. So I've got 2 pages here. The linkage menu is where all my important things are. Here I've got all my important menus, like the function to where I can set up my servo channels. So this works in line with the SBUS channel in my 750. More about SBUS later. But you can see here, because it's a super, I can scroll down. So I have 8 channels, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I've got DG1, DG2, which is more like an on and off channel. So if I want to get out of a menu, I press the bottom one once and then return. And now I'm back out in my menu again. I got my endpoints, swash ring, we don't need to use that anymore because of the flybar list systems. I can set my trims here. This is a big thing that you guys will need to do. When you get the radio, if your trims are not combined, you need to go into that linkage T1 to T4 set. And here you can go in and combine your trims so that when you click into idle up 1, idle up 2, throttle hold, when I go into these things, my trims are all grouped together, so I'm not having to trim my model in a different flight mode. Now if you're using a flybar list system, we're not really trimming models anymore anyway, so once again, a lot of this we don't need to use. So we'll go into the model menu here and take a look. All sorts of things here as well. You've got your servo monitor. This is so huge. This is such a great tool, and I don't feel like people use it enough. Servo monitors are a great way to just see what you're sending to the receiver. You can see here I've got my pitch hooked up here on channel 6. I got my throttle on channel 3 because this is electric. I'm just running straight curves. It tells my Castle speed controller how fast I want it to go. You know, I can see if my pots are returning to, or if my pots and my gimbals are returning to center. The servo menu is really great. So if you're ever in doubt or there's something weird going on with a mix or something in here, make sure you take a look at the servo menu. That's just great right there. So once again, I can just get back out to it very easily. I've got everything here, pitch curve, throttle curve. In the model menu, I've also got my gyro and my governor screen. So there's a few things I want to show you guys that I don't agree with right out of the factory that you need to make sure you take a look at. So the first thing you want to go into is your pitch curve. So you go into your pitch curve and you scroll your wheel around to where it's the hover. Now for some reason or another, some of these radios come with the hover and the hover pitch trim activated. So that means when I move these sliders here, these guys, or sometimes it's on a knob, it'll actually take my pitch and it'll increase or decrease my pitch. So people, I don't know why they use it. So they sit there and they hover and then they need more pitch and then they hit the button. It doesn't make sense for us 3D guys. I don't need it. I've had it before where I forgot to deactivate it. I've set up my whole model, it's perfect, and then I realized the pitch trim was on, so it's a pain. So just make sure you go into that menu and go from active to inhibit. So you always want to inhibit that first. And I'm screaming to Futaba for them to inhibit that in a stock menu. So if that happens, let's just hope that happens. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. So pitch curve, once again, we'll go out of that, we'll go to throttle curve. This is another thing you need to take a look at right out of the factory. You need to go in here and you need to, so it comes with it turned, it'll say active. Nope, we want to inhibit that right there. So we just want to get rid of all those little things. And once again, I can go into linkage, servo, and I can take a look. Those sliders aren't doing anything. The knobs aren't doing anything. That's what we want. We want to get rid of all that in a stock configuration. So back in our model menu, nothing else is turned on from the factory that we need to get rid of. Pitch to rudder, none of those other mixes are that, they're there, but they're not turned on. So that makes it really helpful. So now we'll go into the gyro menu. I'm not going to get too technically into it because I covered a lot of this in the 750 video. But it's really nice because I can go and have different gyro rates for instance, my rudder. I put my rudder on this switch back here. So this is normal, and then rate mode here. Heading hold, rate mode. So I can put a different switch on the rudder. I can change my gyro gains right on the fly of my radio. then I can do the same for aileron and elevator as well when it comes to doing my gains for the 750, so for getting that. So it's nice to have a designated gyro menu. Heck, if you're just flying a regular flat bar and you got a gyro in here, it's nice that you can just change between normal and rate mode and change the number right on the screen. You don't have to go into the endpoints menu. It's got everything you need. And once again, governor. This one's deactivated because it's a electric setup. I just use my throttle curves, but it's nice. I just put my governor switch on switch E for nitro, and I can go in here, number 1, 2, and 3, and I can set 3 different head speeds just by doing this. And if I'm using a 750 or a 701 or a GV1, everything matches right up to the radio. So it's really, really nice, and it's useful here. So now I'm going to take this time to tell you about why this thing is the one to go for. With flybarless systems now, which I'm sure most of you guys are running, we don't need everything that's in the super complicated radios. We don't need all these different mixes or these swash mixes and stuff. But the 8FG has just the right amount of menus in here and the different things that you will need if you're running a flybarless system. That you're not going to spend all this money for mixes and everything that you're not going to use. This guy sells for about $480 with a receiver, and it's just a great overall value. Battery lasts forever. It's super fast. The latency in it itself is one of the fastest ones out there. I believe it's faster than Spectrum. I've heard some data on that from third-party sources. Don't tell them that. But it's really, really fast. It feels nice and connected. So everything's great with that. So that's the 8FG. I didn't want to get too technically involved because we could go on for hours and hours about this radio. But for the most part, everything's in your main menus. I don't do anything special with this. I don't do anything crazy. I just use it as a bare radio for my flybarless system. And then I put all my mixes and let that take care of it. For instance, with the V-bar, you just set it up with a stock H1 swash plate. 750, you do the same thing. So that's the 8FG right here. Really good radio. Definitely check it out. If your buddies have them, try it out. It's a really nice radio. I'd recommend this over all the other guys. But because Futaba just brought in the 18MZ, I want to give you guys a rundown of that one. It's a super cool radio, way out of my price range, but it's really, really cool. So I'm going to show you that one next. 18MZ coming up next. And now we're on to the super duper 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 flagship radio from Futaba, the 18MZ. This one just came out in the beginning of 2012, meant to replace the 14MZ, which I'm hearing maybe being discontinued, not too sure. But the 18MZ, this thing is absolutely incredible. They sent me one of these to play with, and I really, really, really like it. I just don't trust myself with it. I went back to my 8FG because I'm gonna break it. And I don't want to because it's really nice. So this thing is awesome. I treat it with a lot of respect. Street price, $3,000. I think my first car, I bought it for a hair more than that, maybe $5 more. So you want to be very careful with this thing. We should get insurance for it. But anyway, just the overall aesthetics of it. It's a really nice radio. It's a very solid feel to it. It's a little heavy. It's definitely heavier than any of the other radios I showed you today. But it's really nice. Some reasons why I think you guys would really like it if you're in the market for high-end radio. Number one, the spacing this way on my hands feels really nice. It's just like a natural sort of feel. Second, people have always complained about the spacing between the switches here, both on the right side and left side. Now, for those of you guys with fat fingers, my fingers are skinny, so I can't comment. But for those of you guys have fingers like the thickness of my thumb, you'll have plenty of room, so you're styling here. 3-position switch for idle up, 2-position switch for hold, which is a little bit more natural. That's really nice. All sorts of gizmos and spring-loaded buttons here. We've got our dials here that are spring-loaded. We've got a center button. I've seen some people use this for throttle kill. That's kind of cool. I thought that was an interesting idea. So we've got everything here. It's got 2 sliders on each side. 1, 2. We don't need these as helicopter guys, but it's just, I don't know, it's just nice to have for people. So let's take a look. We've got 4 buttons down here. We've got a scroll wheel we can use, and it's got a touch screen. So let's turn it on. This thing's really, really nice. Now the screen is very similar to that of like an iPhone. It really does feel like that. So I'm just going to unlock it here and go through. This is my, what model is this? This is my Synergy N5C. Here I've got a picture of Pinion on there. We decided to do that as a goofy sort of video. Now if you can take a look at the screen, it's just super, super nice and very fast. I mean, if I touch it, it's right there. If I go into my gyro menu, boom, it's real quick. I can go into everything, take a look at my different assignments for heading hold, non-heading hold. It's got really the same amount of menus as the 8FG does. It's got everything we need here. Governor, dual rate, it's got everything here. Now I can just press this button here and get into my linkage menu, go to some different menus here. I can assign a picture to it so you can see a head pinion on the N5C. Everything, it's just very quick. I mean, if you just see, it's just super, super, super fast. Now, it's got some really cool things in here, mainly in the system menu. I'm going to go here. Now, some reasons why I really like this over the 8FG. Now, I could buy probably 4 or 5 8FGs for this price, but it's still just a nice, it's just a nice radio. So one thing I like here is the sound volume. So I can go here and I can take my, some people say that the 8FG has a very, very quiet timer, I guess you could say, and when you're flying you can't hear it. The 18MZ is really loud. Listen to this. I mean, that's just really loud right there versus the normal, you know, operational volume that we got here. I can turn on my 8FG. Kind of loud. If I go into here on my system menu for my timer, yeah, I can definitely hear it. So that's really, really, really worth its weight in gold right there. Battery lasts forever. I've got 30% here. I haven't charged this thing in forever, but the battery lasts forever. It's a lithium ion battery on the side. We'll get to that. Next cool thing about the 18MZ. Are you ready for this one? This is freaking crazy. It has a freaking camera. Now, why we would need a camera, I don't know. Maybe to take pictures of different things. I can take a picture of I just took a picture of my 8FG. Let's get to it. Oh, close. There's my 8FG. Oh, close, but there it is. And there's one I took of myself earlier. So you can assign these different pictures to the model so that when you turn it on, you know you've got the right model. It's really cool. So that's one really cool thing about it. Now, to be honest, the rest of the menus are very similar to the 8FG. That's one of the, I guess, the big turnoffs that we don't need a super computer radio anymore. We really don't need these high-end radios because the low-end ones has all the menus we need for the flybarless systems. So would I recommend this? I mean, yeah, if you're itching to spend some money, but most of the time this one just has everything you need in there. Now this one does have nicer gimbals. The gimbals on this feel absolutely incredible compared to the 8FG. I mean, the 8FG has really nice gimbals. There's nothing wrong with them, but the ones on here are like butter smooth. It's unbelievable. You can even go in the back here and you can tighten them up or loosen them up to your liking. It just makes life a little bit easier. Now, the other cool thing about the 18MZ is telemetry. So I will grab my receiver that comes with it. This is the R7008SB receiver. It's just a little tiny guy. It's very similar to the other receivers that we're using, but this one uses what's called FASTEST technology, FASSTEST. I don't know if it's any faster or not. I doubt we can really feel it because these radios are just so fast to begin with. But the cool part about it is it's got telemetry in it. So just by using the SBUS cable to my 750, for instance, it's got power in my 750. On here on the front, I can see my overall voltage, both receiver voltage right here and an external voltage, which means if I'm flying electric, I can take this little cord right here, which is the same type of plug that you can find in a Radio Shack or it's the same same little plug as like an MCPX for the battery, you can plug this and tie that right into your speed controller, and you can plug in up to, I think it was 60 volts into this guy, 12S setup. You can plug 12S right into the receiver, and it'll tell you that secondary voltage right there, that external voltage, which I think is really cool. Whereas the Spectrum ones, yes, they have the telemetry built in, but here you don't need to get any sort of different sensors or anything just to get your receiver value. So now, Miss Camera Lady, if you can zoom into my radio again, I can, what this means is I don't need to check my receiver voltage anymore. When I was flying my N5C with this, I never ever checked my pack. Here's why. I went to the receiver battery voltage and I turned my threshold to 6.8 volts. Now 6.8 under a load's just about when a LiPo, a 2S LiPo is going to begin to dump, because I was running the full HV setup here. So I set my threshold to 6.8 volts, and then I turn the vibration on. My radio is vibrating. I don't know if you can hear that. You might be able to hear that, you might not be able to hear that. But my radio vibrated one day, and I'm like, no way, I actually killed my battery. So it's just really cool to be able to set that, and I never really had to go and check my pack. Even if I'm flying and I know it's kind of low, I just landed and changed the pack out. Now with the telemetry, Futaba has a few different sensors that you can get. So the receiver voltage and the external voltage, you don't need any other sort of sensor, but you can also do temperature, RPM, magnetic, and optical, and you can do altitude. They've got these sensors. If you go to towerhobbies.com or any other website, you can take a look and you can grab one of the sensors if you want it. So you can get a temperature of your engine in real time. You can get your RPM of your motor in real time back to your radio, which is really cool. I think it's nice. And altitude. They had some sort of altitude sensor and hopefully GPS coming soon. Now, I don't know where they're going to go with the telemetry. I think ultimately if we could get like an 8-channel with telemetry, that would freaking rock. But right now this is the only Futaba radio to offer telemetry. And it's really good at it. They did a nice job with it. So we've got all of our model mixes in here that are about the same as the 8FG. We've got a few different ports here on the side. You can see when I pop it open, it's got a really cool transformer-like sort of thing here. Comes with a nice lithium battery here, really big battery. This is a 3500 milliamp battery. It's nice, lasts forever. I've got my different ports in here. I've got a mini USB port and a full-size USB port. There's a YouTube video out there if you want to take a look. I even plugged a computer mouse into it and controlled the radio. I mean, it's just unbelievable the stuff they put into here. If you're running a flybarless system, once again, you're going to use less than like 10% of what this radio has to offer. Now, if you're a guy flying like a big scale plane too or something like that, yeah, they've got all sorts of awesome things in here that you could use it for. 18MZ. Would I buy one? No. If I had a lot of money to spend and I just won the lottery, well, maybe not that much. If I really wanted to treat myself to something nice, yes, this radio rocks. It's really awesome. I know a few of the guys that Nick was flying it at XFC when he won it. I mean, obviously, it's a really, really, really nice radio. Extremely high quality. It's got all sorts of things in here that I mean, so many gizmos. Take a look at the promotional videos. But for the most part, for the helicopter guys, if you're just an everyday sort of flyer with a 3G system or a V-bar or 750 or whatever, I think this radio is kind of overkill for what we need it to do. So that's why I went back to the 8FG. I think that the 8FG is just an incredible radio with what it's got to offer for the price. I don't worry about it. I can leave it sitting in the car. It can get hot. I don't care. So it's really nice. So that's our 18MZ. That's our flagship radio. So now we're going to get into some receivers and some SBUS. So now it is time to get into some talk about these guys, receivers. These guys are so little, but they do a lot. So the Futaba radios, the 2.4 radios now, there's a lot of different receivers that you can use with it. I believe that there's 3 different types of receivers you can use. Now, we're all running FAST, F-A-S-S-T technology. It's frequency hopping technology. It's the 2.4. It's integrated into the 8FG, for instance. And it's a very trustworthy system. I really trust it. The connection between these guys is amazing. It never craps out or anything. Now, there's a few different types of receivers, as I mentioned, but I recommend this guy. This is the greatest thing to come along in the last few years. This is the R6203SB. So that means it has SBUS. So this means if you're using a setup that uses SBUS, you can get away with this one without having to buy a fancy, expensive receiver. It's about half the price of the other receivers. Now there's also a 6008 SB receiver. That one comes with the 8FG Super. Might come with the, I believe it comes with the 8FG as well. If you don't want to use SBUS or if you're running something else. But for most applications that I'm running this thing on everything. So it's great. So it's got one channel for SBUS and then it's got 3 other channels you can work with. So that's the 6203 SB. Now, for the 18MZ, guys are running the 7008 SB. This is what comes with it. This one's really, really, really cool. It's got an SBUS 2 port. I mean, there's all sorts of different configurations you can do with it. Once again, this one has the built-in little port for an external battery voltage you can see there. And it's just really, really cool. Now, this one uses fastest, FASST-EST technology. The fastest technology, I believe it's even faster. By how much, I don't know. They haven't given me that information. Now with the 18MZ, you can also use fastest, fast, and FHHS technology. FHHS is like a cheaper sort of fast version. It works just as well. It's what's found in a lot of the Habaco airplanes, the Bind and Fly, like the Albatross and stuff. The Futaba 8J uses FHHS technology, and it works okay. I recommend fast. I know it works for these, for these expensive big models. I would generally recommend fast, at least for everything. So these are these 2 receivers. There's the other ones, but mainly this is the guy I would go with. Now, if you're not running SBUS, just go with the 6008, either HS. Yeah, it's HS. You can get that receiver probably used somewhere for pretty cheap. So how do these things work? Well, let's start off with the SBUS setup. So we'll get rid of this guy. Now, the beauty of SBUS is that instead of connecting a bunch of different cables, here I've got my 750, for instance, my flybarless unit. Instead of having you run a cable from aileron and this to aileron and that, or pitch and this to pitch and that, it uses one little cable. This is all it is. This provides power as well. It's really incredible with what they did. So SBUS just gets rid of a lot of wires. So for instance, I don't need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 or 8 wires here. I can just use one. So all I do is I plug one into here, one into my SBUS here, and that's it. That's as simple as your wire's gonna look. And then you've got your servos physically connecting to here. Now, a full-size V-bar, you can use SBUS as well. It's really nice. Now, SBUS provides a good amount of power, but I'm not exactly quite sure how much. I would just recommend doing a good bench test, moving your servos around. If you're running the Futaba high voltage brushless servos or Futaba brushless servos, SBUS can more than provide enough power for your 750 or your V-bar or whatnot. If you don't believe it's enough power, you can Y in something else into your V-bar, your 750 or your 3G. You can wire in another external power there. But for my applications here, if I power the receiver, I know that this one little cord will give all the power I need to my servos, tail servo, everything. It's quite incredible. So let's take a look here. First, I'm gonna bind this and then we're gonna get this going here. So I'm gonna turn on my radio. Now, Futaba binding is so easy. I just used the little poker tool that comes with everything in the world. And I will plug in power to it. I don't think I've bound this receiver before. Let's see. So it sits here flashing with a little green light, okay? It's very easy. I'm gonna press and hold until it changes to red, and then I'm gonna let go. And it's green. Now you can see my 750 is also booting up. So just by using this one cable, pressing that one little button, there's no bind plug, there's none of that crap. It's just easy. You just press the button and it freaking works. So now you can see I've got SBUS running through my receiver. The power is going through the receiver, through the SBUS cable, and it's powering my flybarless unit. So that's how I would set it up right here. Now, if I was running electric, for instance, I wouldn't need the R sensor. I wouldn't use that because I use the Castle governor screen there. If this battery had another tab to it, I'd probably Y into the R the sensor port right there. Actually, no. You don't want to do that. Not the sensor port there. Sorry. We could edit this, but we're a low budget show. Run it into the throttle port. Don't plug it into the sensor, please. It'll explode. Plug it in the throttle. You heard it here. So now that we've got it set up, it's a very easy unit, as you can see here. Another way to power it up is to just use a little plug like this. I ran this exact plug on my T-Rex 700 Nitro. I didn't feel like using a switch. I just had 2 of these cables because I wasn't using anything else, plugged right into my receiver, and I just attached my power through a Dean's. I recommend 2 plugs just because it gives you a little bit more redundancy. Now, if you're running the SBUS and you want to use switch glow, for instance, you're going to have to move some channels around. I wrote a nice article about it. If you go to my website, bobbywatts.com, there's a very easy article under the news section that just shows you how to rearrange your channels using the function menu. So you just go into function in your radio and you change throttle from channel 3 to channel, I don't know, 13 or something up there, something really up there. And then you can just rearrange your channel 3 to auxiliary something or another, auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2. And then that'll allow you to have your switch glow to the right channel. So it helps out with our Nightfly system. It uses the same sort of principle. So the beauty of the SBUS and everything else is you can move channels around. You can do all sorts of other really nice stuff. So the last thing I want to show you here is how to take your receiver. I guess that's not a secret. They tell you how to do it, but I know a lot of people don't use it. You can take your receiver here, and as you can see, when I plug it right in, it goes from a red to a green light. It went red and then green. If you can watch one more time, red and green. Now this is just a regular sort of latency here. Now you can enter what's called high speed mode. I don't know exactly how much faster it gets it, but I sometimes feel like I can tell a difference versus if I do or if I don't. So all we're going to do is we're just going to hold down this button right here with our poker, and then we're going to plug it in. And when I plug it in, it's going to flash both a red and green light, if you can see. So plugged it in, and I let go right there. Right when I let go, it's flashing red, and just when I let go, it had a red and a green light. So I can triple check here, plug it in, you'll see red and green first, and then it initializes. One more time, red and then green, and then to there. It's a split red, green light. This is what they call high-speed mode. It enters it into high-speed mode. It just makes it faster. For anything flybarless, you want your resolution as fast as it can be so that it's sending signals back and forth with you and your radio, and you feel a lot more connected. So that's a good trick right there to know. So that's receivers and just a very simple SBUS explanation for the flybarless systems. If it's got SBUS, try it. It's really a nice system. It works out quite well. It works great with the 750, makes life so much easier. So that's receivers and SBUS.
So, main reason here is about my Futaba radio. I've been flying Futaba.
Wait, start it again. Start it all over. Hi, this is Doc Wayne.
I ain't starting this shit over again. Are you fucking kidding me? You shit in the pants, boy.
Just do it.
Hello, this is Dr. Wing. Today we're going to do a little side note on 8FG radios by Futaba. I've had 14s, I had 12s, but now I got an 8. And this is the easiest one I've used so far. So, one of my main reasons why I like using this Futaba radio is I can make the switches anything I want to do.
Why do you need to do that?
Now, as some of you do know, I have a little problem. My right side is a little short. So I have all my main switches on the left side, such as throttle hold. These are my idle ups. This is throttle cut, which I don't need that much. And this is my other secret weapon, which is mixed with my remote glow.
Switch glow.
Correct. So it's actually got a throttle hold mixed into it, so when I do my switch glow, it actually turns on and it's in throttle hold, which actually gives me a great big chubby. Because you know, I'll have some hot start somewhere along the line. So now this is the deadly secret switch. Only a few people know what this is for, and I'm going to keep it to myself. But I make sure all my switches are down and away before I start anything up. That way I know everything's back to normal. So now I just put my switches and have fun from there.
And finally, on to our super duper secret segment of the episode. This is cool. I got 3 for you. The first one's not exactly a secret. The second one is pretty cool. It has to do with the 8FG. And the third one's just really sweet. I'm so excited. Okay, so the first one. So I've been to a bunch of different events across the US, across the world, and I see a lot of people have problems with timers. Whenever I'm on Buddy Box, I'm always hearing beeping going on. Like the whole time while I'm flying and stuff. And what I'm seeing is that guys are putting their timers on the throttle stick here. And what happens is their timer starts when they move about, I don't know, 20-30% on the stick. Yeah, but if you're down here a lot, then your timer stops, and then you're going to go over and you're going to cook your packs and stuff. You know, if you're heavy on the sticks and you happen to go at a negative a lot, your timer's going to turn off. So the first one, what I want to show you is just an easy thing for the timer. So I'm on my X7 model. I'm going to go here on the 8FG to where it says ST1, and that goes into my timer. So I put 4 minutes. I get a 4-minute flight. Count down, and then I just put my start switch for the timer right here on switch E, my idle up switch. So if you can sit here and watch, in normal mode, I run no throttle. On my electrics, this is what I got used to doing. So as soon as I hit switch E into idle up 1 or 2, my timer begins. When I get out of idle up back into normal, my timer stops. So it just makes it easy. So I'm flying in idle up all the time, so just put it on idle up. Now when I hit hold, yeah, it's going to keep running, but usually once I'm done flipping and coming around and everything, I'll just go into normal and just land it. So you can see when I go back out of idle up, it just stops the timer. Of course, I can reset it. So that's the first super duper secret trick that we're doing with the 8FG. The second one is one I just kind of found out about by accident. Here we go. You ready? So you all know, you all saw earlier I went into the linkage menu by double tapping, and I have all my menus here. And then I went into the model menu by double tapping, and I go to all the menus here. Well, there's a lot to choose from there. What they've done is they've made, if you hit this S1 button right from the home screen, bam, one time, puts you in your user menu. Your user menu is designated by you. You can choose that. So what I did is I can go here. I added gyro, governor, and dual rate. So for instance, my governor, yeah, it's my actual governor menu. Get back out of it. If I go to the dotted line here, I can add something else. So let's say the servo monitor, which I really like. Bam, right there, servo monitor. So I've got all my user-defined menus that I commonly go to. Just one button I can get out of it, one button I can get into it. Just as easy as that. It's really simple. So those were the two sort of tips that I recommend for the Futaba radios. And the third one, this is really cool actually. So the next thing I want to show you is called the super pitch menu. Now, I ran into this by accident. I was actually practicing for XFC, and I wanted to end my freestyle routine with a blade stop. And while I was flying and I was climbing for my blade stop to the music, I could never get up as high as I needed to be for my blade stop in time. I didn't want to take the whole routine to do the blade stop. So I decided I needed more pitch, but not all the time. I just wanted it on a switch. So here's what I did. I added about 30% more pitch. So I went from 11 or 12 degrees to 16 degrees of pitch. Let me tell you, they say blade stall at 16 degrees pitch. I don't know, that sucker moved. That sucker got up quickly. So let's check it out. It's 2 things we got to do. Now, 8FG will definitely do this. I'm not sure about the other radios. You can play around with them and take a look. Here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create another condition. We're going to call it idle up 3, and we're going to put it on a switch. So I put my super pitch on switch B. So you can see switch B is idle up 3. So just like this one's a hot switch on the bench, I don't want to flick that. Same with switch B now. That's idle up 3. So you can see my normal, idle up 1, idle up 2, and idle up 3 conditions. So how I did that was I went to model, condition, I have idle up 1, idle up 2 on switch E here, and then idle up 3 is on switch B. Okay? Easy as that. So I went into my condition menu and made idle up 3. Now, with that being said, I went to my pitch curve because I want super pitch. So I went to the pitch curve and I scroll around in my menu, past the hover menu, into the high and low pitch. So you see high pitch, low pitch. Now for normal, it's inhibited. Okay? Then what I'm going to do, idle up 1, idle up 2. As you can see, it's also inhibited. Idle up 3. Bam, that's super pitch. It's on switch B. Activate rate 30% positive, 30% on the negative side. I added 30%. So what that did was, if I go to my servo screen here, you can see my normal pitch curve. I just run a straight line in normal, idle up 1, and idle up 2. Channel 6 is all 100. If I add super pitch, bam, 130 and 130. So it added a ton of pitch. So if I wanted to do super fast flying or just haul ass or just move around, it's really easy. Last thing to do on that one is you want to copy your idle up 2 throttle curve to idle up 3, just so it's the same, so your governor's not resetting itself. So it's the same head speed in the super pitch. So try the super pitch out. It's really cool. I've buzzed around with it in forward flight and it freaking moves, but be careful because it's going to dump your batteries like crazy. So those are some super top secret tips. So thank you all for watching our episode. Did you enjoy yourself?
I had a thrilling time.
This is going to be the first one that you've watched all the way through, the only one.
I watched a lot of them. I gotta buy them too, you bastard.
You're part of the show. You can get them for free.
Oh no, I buy them.
Why?
I don't know.
Just to bust my banana?
Yeah, make you and Mr. Huge fucking rich. Big dollar boys.
I appreciate it. So yeah, so we went over a bunch of Futaba stuff. I hope Bert can do maybe a full-length episode, if not one of our smaller ones, quick tips or something on his Spectrum radios, both the DX8 and the DX18.
Oh.
I don't know anything about those, so this is what we...
Can't move the switches? Not interested.
You can't move the switches?
Not interested.
I can understand. You need that.
Nope.
I just like simplicity, and I like it to work.
Oh yeah, no brownouts.
I trust it. I trust it with my life, because we have to.
Oh yeah, because you're big. I'm a little guy.
No, but I've taken off of like doing aerial photography. I've taken off like boats where the helicopter blades are like here, and if that's a great time for to brown out, right?
Oh, you're gonna get in trouble.
No thank you. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. You're messed up.
Why?
You're just goofy.
Whatever.
See ya. We're at the Chicken Wings household. Let's go see the chicken wing in his natural environment. Hello? 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 Hello, Mr. Wing? What? What's up? I haven't seen you in forever.
I thought she was the entire...
How you been?
I can't believe my sister got to the point where she was lying.
This is the first fucking kid I had in fucking a year. That's the youngest kid.
To push your sister out of
You're fucked up.
Mr. Watts wants me to give away my secret. My little secret switch. Well, a while ago, the clock maneuver was really like big, and I could never get that down if it saved my life.
Why?
A little problem here on the right side.
The stub doesn't move that fast?
No, no way. So, a little convincing. Ready for the secret switch? Da 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 da! It works! On and off. The secret switch is now revealed. Shit!
Guys with fat fingers, this is fine for you. We have to stop. Look at him. He's gonna hit a button and he's gonna freaking make a song play. He's gonna make a song play. And before I get too much into the freaking take, Tiggy, you're killing me, dude. You printed something. Dude, you hit the print button. Ah. Really? You just wasted 2 sheets of paper. Unbelievable. All right, back at it. Let's try again. So the champions, 1961. Who's that? Ray Morey. So, what position were you?
I pitched. I played the outfield. I did both.
Wait, so you pitched? How'd you pitch? Did you wear a glove?
Are you fucking kidding me? Of course you don't.
Inverted Tiggy. Hi, Tigger. Ow, 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 ow. He's biting. Ow. All right, back to filming.
But I have a little tidbit for you. Mr. Watts paying me a visit in my area. And of course, Mr. Watts has to do as usual. As soon as I see him, it's not, hello, how you doing? It's, I gotta take a shit. Every time he comes near me, he's got to take a shit. He shits in the RV, he shits in my house. The boys is nothing but shit. So now we're off to that fucking dirty subject. Today we're going to talk about Futaba, and this is my 8FG.
So this is the intro for number 26. When you do that, you're going to make the microphone make noises, so ease up.
What?
Hello, this is Chicken Wing. What's wrong with your mustache?
That's what remember I told you about the shovel? Well, the scarf for the shovel.
Oh,
I hit him with,
really?
the head with the fucking rock. Fuck him.
So when you were a kid hit you with a shovel?
Yeah, he threw it at me.
And it fucked with your mustache.
Yeah, I put a scar on my face.
So you threw a rock at him?
Oh yeah, I fucked them all up.
You threw a rock
That's
at
a
him?
big fucking boulder too. Yeah, concrete rock. Fuck him.
Gotta mute my phone. Gotta mute my fizzle. Who's this little guy? He is the interrupter of my excellent take. He kept chewing on my foot during half the freaking episode. This is Tigger. Tigger, say hi. Hi.
Hi, this is Dr. Wick. Welcome to SmackTalk with Mr. Dickhead. Da 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 da!
How about the little duck next to you? The swan.
My little body. Isn't he cute?
And your fish?
I have no clue what the hell that is. I don't even know where it came from. Looks like Mr. Watts' fishy. Tinker might like it. Eat him up, yum yum.
Alright, say goodbye.
See yous. Have fun.